Yeah, incredible atmosphere out there. Just before we cross to our commentary team of Michael Stewart and Alistair Lambert, final thoughts from the studio here in Glasgow. Willie Miller, Tom English alongside me. Am I sensing some positivity?
Yes, indeed. Very positive, but hopefully some kind of a result to come back with.
Go for a draw.
Right, the anthems are playing. Let's go over to our team there. It's Michael Stewart and Alistair Lambert.
I didn't dare interrupt Michael Stewart's passionate rendition of Flower of Scotland there. And here comes the anthem of the hosts of Denmark. Yes, they're also a passionate bunch, the Danes. Welcome to the Parken Stadium in Copenhagen as Scotland look to begin World Cup qualifying in positive fashion against a Denmark side who rarely drop points on home turf and who are favourites to top Group C and reach next summer's showpiece. But Scotland very much of a mind that they want to end that long absence from World Cup competition. The stage is set here, as Mikey was describing just a few moments ago. It's a brilliant arena. It's not massive, you would have to say, in terms of European stadia. Just under 40,000 capacity. But my goodness, they're making a noise pre-match. And the team's just about ready to get us underway here. Denmark having their photo taken in a red top, white shorts, red socks. Scotland all in navy tonight as the two team captains make their way to the halfway line for the handshakes with the officials and each other, and the coin toss. Andy Robertson and his Danish counterpart Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, now with Marseille in France, a teammate of Matt O'Reilly, both there and with the national team now. O'Reilly part of a strong Danish bench this evening. Scotland too have plenty of good players who can come on and make an impact. Well, let's just see how that starting 11 fares. Maybe a little bit controversial. Steve Clarke making a point to Amy there that he was wary of certain players who haven't played a lot of football at the start of this campaign. Lewis Ferguson, though, hasn't kicked a ball for Bologna as yet. He's in the starting 11. Grant Hanley hasn't played all that much since he's made the move to Hibs. He's in the starting 11. But anyway, let's see if Scotland can get this campaign off to a positive start and head to Hungary for Monday's game against Belarus in Goodfettel. It will be Scotland and John McGinn to kick us off here. Scotland will go from right to left as we look at it from the main stand here in the parking, and off we go. McGinn hoists it forward down that right hand side, and it's brought under control by Mela, who will fire it long down his left channel, and it's repelled and up towards Lyndon Dykes. Got McTominay losing out in the middle of the park, and Denmark almost finding a ball through the middle, and John Souttar had to stretch there to get a really important interception, or else Denmark could have been in the early stages. Picked up by Højbjerg in the middle of the park, and then out to this right hand side to Christensen, the right full back in field to Joachim Andersen. As I mentioned there, it's a very experienced back four, particularly for the Danes, as Mela has it on the left hand side, back in field to Christensen, who himself hasn't played a great deal of football, just back from injury at Barcelona. Here he is though, coming over the halfway line, left of centre, comes back the way once more to Højbjerg on the halfway line, plays it square to Christensen as Denmark dominate early possession. To the right hand side, Anders Dreyer is the right midfielder, playing right up against Andy Robertson right now. There's a big switch of play out to the left flank, and it's picked up by Damsgaard, so dangerous into the penalty area, but Souttar manages to get it clear once more. But in these early moments of the game, Scotland very much on the defensive. Forward come Denmark once more. It's played forward on the right hand side of the penalty area. It's Dolberg just laying it to this right to Dreyer, tries to get the cross in, it comes off Robertson, and Denmark will settle for the first corner of the evening. A couple of minutes in, Mikey, and Denmark already trying to put their imprint on the game.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing that's quite clear is that Mela from left back, he just gets himself right up on top of the back line of Scotland. They used to play that way before when he was very high, so it almost becomes a back three in possession from Denmark.
In comes the corner from the right hand side, a very deep one. It's kept in play by Andersen. Andersen backed away to Højbjerg, and on the edge of the centre circle now is the man Mela, Mikey mentioned, does love to get forward. He scored in the 2-0 win against Scotland the last time the sides met here. You'll remember perhaps that Scotland reversed that scoreline when the Danes came to Hampden. Ball's knocked back to Schmeichel. Dykes just letting the Danish defence know that he's not here to give them an easy evening, as the free kick is awarded against the now Birmingham City striker.
I was just going to say, and that's the whole sort of setup. They've become a back three. Damsgaard steps in off the line on the left, and Mela gets up high. Christensen at right back just becomes almost the right-sided centre half, and Dreyer here on the ball, he becomes that player that's going to play middle to front in an attacking sense for Denmark on the right-hand side.
It's up towards Biret, closely marshalled there by Souttar. It's a poor challenge on McGinn. Højbjerg waves him to his feet. It's a yellow card though for the Danish captain. Didn't look a nice one from here. Højbjerg suggesting that McGinn made more of it than was actually the case, but it's an early yellow card for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg inside 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, certainly from here, Al, it looked like it was a yellow card all day, didn't it? I mean, it is. There's no question about it. John McGinn getting in front of the Danish captain, Højbjerg. He's absolutely wiped him out. He can be complaining, talking about, get up. But there's no doubt about it. It's a yellow card. Just a little bit loose from the Danes in a tight area there, and John McGinn was quick to get onto the loose ball.
So Scotland have a free kick on the halfway line. Robertson's going across to the right hand side to take this one. A chance potentially for Scotland to create the first opportunity for them. Dykes though beaten to the ball forwards, loose again from Denmark. Referee getting in the way of the ball.
That's surely a free. I mean, the referee, the German ref, Siebert, he's not given Scotland the free kick when Lewis Ferguson gets fouled. I mean, clearly Højbjerg goes to clear it up the park and hits the ref, so Denmark effectively get the ball because it ricocheted off the ref. When Højbjerg was just clearing these lines as well, Scotland would have got the ball again.
Yeah,
at worst, and we should have had a free kick.
Yeah, absolutely. Ferguson was fouled, it appeared, by Biret just outside the Danish penalty area, but Scotland just beginning to edge into the game as Denmark had started very positively, but still no goals after 5 minutes in the Parken Stadium. It's a throw into Scotland to be taken by Aaron Hickey, and just great to see a player of that ability back playing football, having missed such a long period through injury. Let's hope he can steer clear of that in the future, because he is such an important player for Scotland in that right back position. It's back in Denmark's possession right now as Christensen plays it square to Anderson, and he keeps it moving out to the right hand side to Christensen, back into Anderson, and then Andreas Christensen once more as Denmark play the ball around on the halfway line. Scotland happy enough for them to have it just at the moment where they are, as Højbjerg picks up possession about 15 yards inside his own half, and then he plays it square to Anderson. It's Christensen once more back to Anderson as Scotland shut off the spaces pretty well, and now it's Christensen leaving it for Højbjerg once more. Rasmus Christensen picks up possession, right full back coming slightly infield, swept forwards by Hulman, but it's cut out by Scotland. McTominay's loose for his pass though, and picked up in turn by Dolberg.
They have a lot of players in that central area with the movement that they get, as we've just mentioned before. Mela stepping up high, Damsgaard steps in field, you've still got the two centre forwards in Dolberg and Biret. It becomes a lot of players in that middle for McTominay and Ferguson to be conscious of, aware of.
Damsgaard's run inside a free kick for McTominay's challenge. There wasn't a whole lot in that, I don't think, but the referee bought it, and Denmark have a free kick midway inside the Scotland half on the left hand side. Scotland lining up on the edge of their own penalty area, trying to keep Denmark at bay with 7 minutes played. Greece have got a goal up early on against Belarus in that other game in this section. That's not a great surprise. Greece will certainly be keen to also reach the World Cup with an up-and-coming side, as Tom was describing earlier. Here's this free kick from Denmark then, left-hand side. There's a couple of Danish players over at referee just sorting things out on the edge of the Scotland penalty area. And it comes, it's right-footed into that near post, big chance saved. Offside flag goes up, straight at gun in the end. But that was a big chance, but wouldn't have counted in any case, at least if the assistant's flag was a correct one. But just worrying slightly, Mikey, that there was so much space in the middle as it was directed towards goal. Yeah, but he was offside all the way. He was one of the players, Hulman, that was standing on the goal side of the defence. He never got himself back onside, hence why he ended up in so much space out. A little bit of the greater concern was there was two of the Danes making darting runs into that near post area, and they actually got in front of the Scottish backline there, and had the ball come in a little bit flatter and they were getting a flick on, then that would have perhaps been a little bit more concerning. Yeah, they come forward again. Denmark chest down there looking for Damsgaard. Biret keeps it alive, gets out to the left hand side to Mela. Mela challenged there by McGinn. The Danish fans want a free kick. Mela's done well to keep possession, gets it back to Højbjerg. He plays it into the middle there for Anderson. Christensen back to Højbjerg now, and back into the Scotland penalty area. Robertson's got to keep his eye on this, heads it down the way to Christie, who we haven't mentioned so far. Tries to clear, handball though in there, and it's a Scotland free kick as Rasmus Christensen tried to block the clearance from Christie. That's a pretty fortunate award, I'd have to say, for Scotland, looking at that replay, Michael. Yeah, his arm was tucked in against his chest. That was a little bit fortunate, you're right, but Andy Robertson, the captain, did really well when that ball was getting dropped in at the back post area. He was backtracking. He had Dreyer just on the outside of him, and he manages to head it down to Ryan Christie really well. 9 minutes in, 0-0 in the Parken Stadium between Denmark and Scotland as Denmark pick up deep in their own territory. It's played forward for Biret. Biret gets it shifted to the left-hand side, and Damsgaard can come forward here and try and threaten the Scotland penalty area. Forward again, this time for Dolberg, left-hand side of the penalty area. Back the way he goes to Mela. Mela might fancy lining one up. I think he's been encouraged to by the home fans, but he decides against it, and they'll try and just build once more on that left-hand side. Damsgaard, the dangerous little Brentford player, such a good technical player. Here's Christensen coming forward again. The home fans want him to try his luck, and that's a really poor effort of a cross coming in from Rasmus Christensen. Tried the deep cross straight behind for a Scotland goal kick. We've played 10 minutes here in Copenhagen. It's still Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
A lot of energy being exerted from the Scottish side, shifting across, blocking spaces, tracking men. John McGinn in particular has ended up in the right back position on a few occasions.
It's a bit of a throwback, Mikey. It's got two teams out there essentially playing 4-4-2.
Yeah, but as we've already spoken about the Danes, there's a nuance to their team once they're in possession.
Suter battling away there. He's going to get beaten though by Biret, who plays the ball out to the left-hand side, probably a bit much on it, but Damsgaard will get it back into the area. McTominay picks up and moves away from Damsgaard before finding Hickey on the right-hand side. Adams' layoff is a poor one, a slack one. He's given possession back to the home side.
Well, I mean, originally Scott McTominay does really well in his box just to show good composure, take a touch, find the pass, and then Hickey plays the ball up the line to Shea Adams. He's got to do better.
Damsgaard into Biret, edge of the box, just can't take the ball with him, but he might get the shot away. He's blocked by Hanley. Denmark trying to ramp up the pressure, but it's a loose pass in the middle of the park there from Højbjerg. Straight to Adams. Christie taken down there, was he? Referee says no. There was a switch of play on, but Christie couldn't get the head up to make the pass. Tried to go himself, reckoned he was fouled. The referee didn't agree. Denmark have possession back. 12 play, 0-0.
Certainly from here it looked like it was a free kick out. Nipped inside Christensen.
Here's Højbjerg, seen a lot of the ball. He's inside the centre circle. He plays it short to his central midfield partner Morten Hjulman. Plays his football in Sporting in Portugal. As Christensen plays it to Christensen. Difficult to discern between those two. As McTominay pokes it back to Hanley on the edge of his own area, and then Gunn, first time, knocks it up towards the halfway line. Anderson plays it down to the right back, Christensen, and back into Anderson, who's closed down by Christie, but it passes off to Andreas Christensen, who hoists it forward, looking for the run there of Dreyer, almost getting in behind Andy Robertson, but Robertson recovers and gets it back up towards the halfway line.
That's brilliant for Dykes.
Yeah, it's done well. He's got it back to McTominay, who can now charge forward. Scotland are getting bodies in towards the penalty area, out to the right-hand side to McGinn. He's got Hickey in support. Hickey now in the angle of the box, right-hand side. Just checks back to Ferguson. Ferguson back out to McGinn on the right. He'll curl it in to the back post. Christie won't get there. Christensen with the header inside his own area. Denmark get it half clear. Christie though wins it back for Scotland. Now it's Robertson looking for Dykes in the area. Gets the header in, but it's over the top from Lyndon Dykes. Scotland's first effort just off target, but decent attacking play from the Scots. 13 play, Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
And it all comes for Lyndon Dykes being able to challenge and bring the ball down and link the game. Then McTominay's able to drive forward, get it wide. Shows you that importance of the front man being able to take the ball in under pressure and win those challenges. And Shea Adams, as we were saying before, on a few occasions just a little bit loose and giving the ball away. It's absolutely key that when the ball does go up there, that they're able to retain possession.
Denmark have it midway inside their own half. It's Anderson of Fulham into his captain Højbjerg. He goes back to Schmeichel. It's not a brilliant back pass, but Schmeichel immediately kills it on his thigh and then plays it out from the back. The Celtic keeper. Forward come Denmark then. Hanley with a good challenge though. And now it's Christie. Christie into McTominay. Can he play Adams in? He goes for goal himself and it's easily blocked there by Mela. Pass looked the better option. Yeah.
Shea Adams was in.
It's unlike McTominay not to spot that. And the chance is gone. 14 played, still no goals. But Scotland just beginning to get glimpses of attacking gaps in that Danish defence.
It was really good play from Grant Hanley, though, stepping in and challenging. I think it was Dolberg that he won it from.
Forward on the left-hand side comes Mela, as Mikey was warning. Here he is, finds a good pass for Damsgaard, who fortunately for Scotland takes a poor touch, and back came Ferguson to knock it behind, but that could have been worse for Scotland. Mela wasn't tracked, and then a good ball in and a better touch from Damsgaard, and Scotland could have been in trouble.
Yeah, just looking at the ref, he's having a word with Brian Christie here. I'm not sure what for.
Not sure if it's going back to what he perceived to be a dive a couple of minutes ago when just he wanted a free kick or something he's said since. But anyway, it will be a corner over on that far side, the Danish left, as the fans get right behind their side here, as Damsgaard curls it in, near post ball. Gunn could have caught that, he punches, he gets plenty of distance on it, but just never entirely sure. And here come Denmark once more. Christensen picks the ball into the area, Robertson gets first contact on it, then McTominay gets out of the box. Adams looked like he handled it there. Denmark pick up possession anyway. Hanley puts a good challenge in, and now it's McGinn turns away coolly, but then he's lost out to Hjulman. Here come Denmark looking for an opening. There's going to be a shot coming in there from Mela, I think it was blocked away by Suter. Then Damsgaard sends it back in, and Robertson lances it behind for another corner. 2-0 Greece in the early stages. They kicked off at exactly the same time, so already showing that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with in this group, as Denmark get another early corner here on the right hand side this time, to be taken by Anders Dreyer, who plays his football out in the MLS now with San Diego. Here he is, left-footed, curling into the near post. A dangerous ball is headed away by Adams, only as far as Damsgaard, who returns it, and the referee spotted a push in there by a Dane, and it will be a free kick to Scotland. We've played almost 17 minutes here, and pretty even so far, Mikey, would you say? I mean, Denmark probably edging it in terms of possession and stuff, but no massive threats to that Scotland goal.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think we've looked actually not too bad when we've been able to get the ball towards our final third. It looked like there's a few openings there. We've not troubled Schmeichel yet, but likewise for the Danes, they've had more possession, but they've, up until this point, they've not really been able to trouble Angus Gunn or the back line.
Anderson pumps it forward well over the halfway line. Beat just looking at John Suter, not the ball. Suter kept his eye on the ball and managed to get the header away, and then Robertson thumps it over the halfway line himself. Adams backing in there. Christensen gets the header, but only as far as McGinn, who picks up on the edge of the centre circle inside Danish territory, and then he'll just nudge it back to his captain Andy Robertson, who edges that little bit closer to the Kenny Dalglish appearance record. Well, he's actually closing in first of all on Jim Leighton. He's now 6 behind him, third in the all-time appearance makers for his country, as Denmark pick up on the left-hand side, deep in their own half. Short ball played to Højbjerg, tries to reverse it for Mela, but it's spotted there by McGinn. McGinn in field to Christie. Christie's got Robertson bombing forward here, plays the early ball in. He could have taken a touch and taken maybe a better cross in the end. Tried to play it in early and have won a corner. Could have been better.
I think you can see Andy Robertson himself, the disappointment. His hands are on his head there. A good break again. Scotland capitalising on a loose ball from the Danes, and as it came out to Andy Robertson, I think he just catches it a little bit far down his foot and ends up being almost off his heel, and that's why it's not in behind the Danish defence and allowing the Scottish attackers to go and get on it. Goes behind for a corner though.
Left hand side, Lewis Ferguson, right footed, curls it in towards the back post, and who did that come off? John McGinn had a free effort there, but the referee reckons it's gone straight behind. There was certainly a cluster of players between him and the goal, and it would have been difficult to get the shot through that, but nonetheless he'd picked up a lot of space there at the back post. Michael,
could he not have headed it, Al? You see, as it coming in, you're thinking, could he not have gone? I mean, he ends up almost trying to volley it, and it's almost up towards his hip, and that's where he doesn't get a good contact. I think as he sees it coming, perhaps he could have stepped onto it and tried to get the header.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, Dykes sliding in there on Hjulman. Free kick, no further punishment for Dykes. Free kick's quickly taken. Suter though gets it clear. Robertson helps it on. Scotland showing that they are going to be more than a match potentially for the Danes tonight, showing an attacking threat of their own against a Denmark side who've got a fabulous record at home. Won 25 of their last 28 home games, losing just 2, most recently to Spain. Dreyer's cross doesn't find its target, comes back to him though on this right hand side. Christie won't get there to block the cross, but it's a poor one straight into the arms of a grateful Angus Gunn, who'll take that into his chest. 20 minutes in, and there's been no real threat to his goal, but you could say it's a similar story at the other end. Kasper Schmeichel not forced to work as yet on his 115th cap for his country as Gunn launches it over the halfway line. Ferguson helps it on. Adams gets out to the right hand side.
He's wiped it again.
Yeah, McGinn's been caught once more. I think the free kick's actually going to be given for the initial challenge on Adams.
Yeah, but regardless, the referee let the game play on. John McGinn gets wiped out, and Mela is fortunate that he's not ended up in the book, because the ref allows the game to play on. John McGinn nips on and Mela wipes him out.
Yeah, that was virtually ignored by the referee and his fellow officials, it seems. But it will be a free kick to Scotland, midway inside the Danish half. Central area, Andy Robertson over this one. 21 played, awaiting the opening goal here in the Parkin Stadium. As Robertson gives the signal, the referee again having words with players in that line of red and blue shirts, looking to get on the end of this free kick from the Scotland and Liverpool player. And it comes from Robertson, clipped in nicely. It's away by Christensen. Damsgaard helps it high in the air, more than any great distance on the clearance, but Denmark are able to then eventually work it further clear. McGinn returns it up towards the edge of the penalty area. Adams trying to back in there, can't keep a hold of it, but Christie picks up left hand side here. Christie back in field. Højbjerg gets a touch on it, but Ferguson's there to pick up the loose ball. Now it's Robertson. 3-0 Greece, my goodness. Just about 22 in that one in Athens against Belarus, who Scotland will play on Monday in Hungary behind closed doors. That'll be a very different experience from this one, I would have to imagine. Here comes Dykes down that right channel. Not sure he's got the pace to get away from the defenders who are coming back, but tries to force the ball into the area, and it's blocked, and it's a Scotland throw-in over on the right hand side. Midway point in this first period, no goals. Well, it's Scotland giving as good as they're getting. I
was just going to say, you know, with the trepidation that came with that team selection, you've got to say that so far Scotland have looked okay, and that last passage of play was a really well worked move, good composure, not panicking, short passing, and in that ball in behind that Lyndon Dykes was able to get on the end of.
Scotland throwing over on the right hand side. McGinn forces it into McTominay, still on the right hand side of the penalty area, gets it back out to McGinn, who'll try and burrow his way past Mela. Low cross, doesn't get any further than Højbjerg, and Denmark can come forwards and try and mount an attack of their own. It was a promising position for Scotland, but they could make nothing of it, and now Denmark trying to create something themselves. Left hand side, back in field to Damsgaard, about 10 yards inside the Scotland half, just leaves it then to Højbjerg, and now Hjulman. Scotland, everyone behind the ball just at the moment, about 20 yards inside their own half. It's brought out to this right hand side to Joachim Andersen, joining him in the attack, clips it to the back post. There's too much on it though, and you'd have to say Scotland coping pretty well with anything Denmark have had to throw at them so far. Another goal kick to the Scots then. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland as their World Cup qualifying coverage gets underway, and you can follow that Belarus game live with us also on Monday evening as Gunn takes that goal kick over the halfway line. Dykes the target, he's got a couple of Danish players round about. Comes to Robertson, he'll clip it forward nicely for Adams. Adams won't beat Christensen to it though. The veteran defender gets there first and clears only as far as Ferguson, but he can't find a teammate. Denmark come forward. Good charge again by Hanley, using his experience and strength.
Did really well. It was a great ball in behind from Andy Robertson as well. Just urging Shea Adams on a little bit more there. You're hoping that he could have perhaps put Christensen under a little bit more pressure.
Here's McGinn with the
great ball.
Switch of play out to the left hand side to Christie. Christie up in an advanced area now, looks up, swings it into the box. That's a good ball. Adams can't get there. A yard or so maybe short of stretching to knock that one goalwards, and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side in the end. But again, it's promising from Scotland, you'd have to say.
It really is. Although John McGinn's gone down. Is he feeling his hamstring just when he's played that crossfield ball?
Not a player who goes down lightly.
I think he is stretching off his hamstring as if he's felt something when he's played that crossfield pass.
It's almost
obviously behind
his knee, wasn't it, actually? He's back jogging again. Maybe it's just a little twinge. Let's hope that comes to nothing as play resumes with the Danish throw-in. 25 and a half minutes played in the Parken Stadium in Copenhagen, and it's Denmark 0, Scotland 0 in this crucial opening World Cup qualifying match. It's Denmark coming forward here. It's a poor ball though from Christensen, easily mopped up by Hanley, who finds Ferguson, and now it's his fellow Serie A player McTominay, and yet another one who's experienced that level, Aaron Hickey, turns it back to Gunn, up towards another one, Shea Adams. It's incredible now, isn't it? So many Scots playing out in that league that so many of us have grown up watching over the years. And Scott McTominay, the MVP in the Serie A last season, a phenomenal campaign for him.
A wee bit too Americanised, that, isn't it, Al?
A wee bit, but well, we'll take it regardless of what it's called.
The accolade's absolutely outstanding.
Denmark coming forwards here, but door is closed on them by John Suter on that occasion. It's picked up by Dreyer, right hand side. Still no goals here in Copenhagen. And the crowd have just been quietened a little by this decent start that Scotland have made, but Denmark here on the edge of the box. As Damsgaard thought about trying a crack there with the left foot, thought better of it, plays it to Højbjerg, now on the right hand side. It's clipped in by Christensen. Good clearing header though by Aaron Hickey at right back. It's good distance on the header, and Damsgaard, his Brentford teammate, has to go back to the halfway line almost to collect. Out now to the right hand side to Rasmus Christensen of Eintracht Frankfurt. He gets it back from Dreyer. Cross comes in this time, turned goalward, deflection, takes it behind for a corner. Don't think it was going to trouble Gunn initially, but the little deflection had him worried just for a moment. But it's wide of target from Biret with the aid of that deflection, and it will be a Denmark corner. 27 and a half played, Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
Yeah, it looks like the actual strike from Biret, well, watching the replay there again, it probably was a little bit better than you and I first thought there, Al, but yeah, the deflections put it behind for the corner kick, and the Scots having to defend this one again. They've got to be concentrated.
Dreyer then, right hand side, left footed, swings it in right on top of Angus Gunn, who again gets a fist to it to take it out on that right hand side, and Højbjerg will just let it go out for the throw in on that left flank, about 15 yards from the corner flag. He goes back the way to Joachim Mæhle. Now it's Damsgaard midway inside the Scotland half, looking for a way through that well organised Scotland backline just at the moment. Højbjerg out to the left flank. Was there a foul there by Hickey off the ball? Referee says yes, and Denmark will get another free kick. It was Mæhle who went down, and the free kick will be just a yard or two in from that left flank, midway inside the Scotland half, and more defending here then for the visitors to do. Free kicks taken, but referee says no, you need to wait for my whistle, and the Danish fans don't appreciate that. They've won 10 of their last 11 World Cup qualifiers, Denmark, losing only the most recent one before this, which was against Scotland at Hampden back in November 2021. Here's a free kick for Scotland to defend then. Flighted into the back post area, headed back across goal, and Suter it was who got a commanding header in a dangerous area to get it clear. Robertson can't keep it in, but he and Hanley have started this game well, Mikey, attacking everything that comes in to the defence.
Fortunately at the moment The Danes have not really been able to get to the byline. They've not got in behind the Scottish defence, so a lot of the balls that have come in have been in front, or the defenders have been able to, you know, keep an eye on the attackers while still being able to deal with those balls. It's once they're having to turn and face their own goal, it makes it a lot more difficult.
That's a good ball from Anderson, but Mela can't keep it in, just bounces away from him, harmlessly behind for a goal kick, fortunately, as we approach the half-hour mark. And you would imagine it'll be a good deal of satisfaction down there from Steve Clark, who I think quite frankly doesn't care what pundits and fans and commentators or anyone thinks of his selection. He knows his own mind. He'll certainly take soundings from his coaching team. Stephen Naismith making his way back into the dugout, again part of Steve Clark's setup. But I guess when you've managed this amount of international games and taken Scotland to 2 major tournaments, you've probably got a fair idea of what you're doing. So far so good, as Ferguson turns it all the way back to Angus Gunn.
I mean, look, the overriding factor is that this is a good, very good Scottish squad that we have here.
Adams trying to make life difficult for the Danish backline, holds it up and then gets out to McGinn, edge of the box. McGinn clips it into the middle, it's away by Christensen. Damsgaard goes back towards his own goal, and Mela will pick that up on his bylines, challenged by him again, and gets it pretty well clear, to be fair. The full back under significant pressure. Højbjerg though caught in the challenge by Ferguson. Now it's Christie, edge of the box, tries to curl it towards the top corner and gets it all wrong. Well off target there by Ryan Christie. The Danish fans wanted a free kick for what they perceived as a foul by Ferguson.
No chance. No chance. It was a really, really good tackle in the middle of the park, and then it lands at Christie on the edge of the box. He just is not able to wrap his boot round it.
It's a good chance.
It's the last couple of moves, because when the ball got played into John McGinn on the inside right channel as well, you were expecting or hoping he was going to dink on his left and have a shot. He tried to play the ball into the box with a wee dinked cross. It didn't really work. But there's another couple of moments where Scotland look threatening, not coming in yet.
Here come Denmark, but it's a long ball forward. It's an easy take for Gunn, who gets there well before Anders Dreyer. So 32 on the clock in Copenhagen. No goals. 3 goals between Greece and Belarus have all come for the home side. The Greeks in command there. Dykes has won that in the air. Adams chases it. Anderson back to Schmeichel. It's not a great back pass, and Schmeichel, to be fair, does really well to get it clear, but picked up by Robertson coming forward on the left side. Now it's Christie taking over, coming in field, turns back the way and keeps possession, rolls it back to the halfway line to Hanley, and now it's out to the left once more with Ferguson, who looks for options. McTominay always trying to take a chance. He's been robbed by Højbjerg. Højbjerg brings it forward. Now it's Biret, right hand side of the penalty area. Scotland on the back foot there. Hanley's in the way, heads it behind, but Scott McTominay,
it wasn't a great pass. It was not a great ball to him. Lewis Ferguson plays the ball, and that to me, you know, not a great pass. Yes, Scott McTominay's tried to let the ball roll across him, and he's not really shielded it, and Denmark have been able to steal it. But Lewis Ferguson's dropped into what you would class as like a full-back position. Play the ball forward.
Here's Damsgaard, takes the corner, and the ball comes into the area, and easy for Gunn. You would have to say, Mike, and I'm hoping I'm not going to tempt fate here, but the quality from the Danes, you mentioned they haven't got in behind. The quality that has come in hasn't actually been all that good, has it?
No. It's the short answer. Long may it continue.
Shooter with the header forward.
Lyndon Dykes is honestly such a great platform for Scotland.
Given away by Christie, who's now gone down. I'm not quite sure what happened to him there. He's limping quite heavily as he tries to stay on his feet, but he's in a bit of pain there. But you're right, Dykes has been terrific so far as he looks to hold up and link the play, but it's Denmark coming forward. Christie still limping as he goes back the way. It's Mela on the left hand side, plays a little ball into Dolberg, left hand side of the area, tracked by Suter. Back out to Damsgaard, left hand side, and now Dolberg once more. I think he might have been trying a shot from the angle of the box here, but he was quickly closed down again by Suter, who's having a good game himself. Gulman tries the little dummy there on the edge of the box, doesn't come to a teammate. and Ferguson gets it back to Gunn, who just plays it up to the halfway line. A rather aimless one from the Scotland keeper, who's now at Nottingham Forest, yet to play for them, and he'll be very much a backup there, I would imagine, but gets the nods tonight from Steve Clarke in what has become a bit of a problem area for Scotland. Here they come, Denmark, and it's slipped through. Here's a chance for Bire. It's a poor touch, a better touch, and he was in on goal there. Gunn quickly off his line, to be fair to him, to smother and take advantage of the poor touch from Mika Bire once on Motherwell. But he's really got to do better in that situation, Michael.
Yeah, he has. It was a really nice link-up play between Dolberg, Dreyer, and then Bire. Interchange, Boggs in the corner is absolutely wiped out there. Anderson goes through and takes out Lyndon Dykes, but you're right, Bire probably he should have done better. I'll tell you what, I mean, that's another one where you say to yourself, Anderson's fortunate that he's not been given a yellow card there.
Free kick to Scotland then on the halfway line. Denmark having about 72% of possession so far, but they haven't been able to make it tell. In fact, as much as they have had more of the ball, Scotland have been every bit as dangerous. And here they come forward now. Hickey trying to get onto it. I think he just clipped the heels there of the Danish defender. Oh, Hickey's going to get booked for kicking the ball away. I mean, that's so cheap.
Well, it is, but I mean, it's not something that, you know, that sort of thing's tended to seem as if it's dropped out the game a little bit. You know, I mean, look, you could make the case and argue that yes, it's a yellow card, but at the same time, the ball's back in play so quickly that, you know, he's dinked it right to the middle of the goals where the Danes have got the ball and they've got the free kick. Have a quiet word rather than brandishing yellow cards.
That's one apiece now. Højbjerg and now Hickey with 8.5 minutes to go to the end of the opening 45, and it's Denmark coming forward down the left hand side through Mela up to the edge of the box into Damsgaard. Can he get the shot away here? McTominay's trying to get back with him, and it comes to the 6-yard box, and Gunn takes it well. He's not happy with the challenge that was made there.
What's the ref doing? Seriously, what is the ref doing?
Well, he's making sure that Gunn and Dolberg don't come together. I know.
No, but the ref's actually made more of it than either of the players. He's charging in, and he's actually charged in and went to usher Angus Gunn away. Angus Gunn wasn't doing it. He was on the deck, and to be honest, it was a nothing incident. Dolberg's foot's no high. He just collides with the goalkeeper. Get on with the game.
Free kick Scotland anyway. 37 played, no goals. Gunn up towards Dykes, who tries to chest it down to a teammate. Doesn't quite find one, but Ferguson hooks it over his shoulder, and Adams brings it down for Christie, and now it's back with Adams out to the left hand side for Robertson. Takes a touch midway inside Denmark territory, back the way to Ferguson, still in an advanced area. Robertson once more tries to pick out a Scotland jersey in the middle. Adams can't get there though, and not cleared by Mela. Brought down well by Suter, who gets out to the right hand side for McGinn. McGinn closed down, but Hickey's in support. Instead it comes into McTominay, edge of the box, dances away from one challenge, up to the byline, can't get the cross in though. Mela does well, but he's now McGinn. Lost it to McGinn. McGinn then to the back post, Christie with the header. Oh, he's missed the target. Big chance for Ryan Christie at the back door, but he sends it a yard or two wide of the far post, and it remains Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
John McGinn does brilliant to win the ball back, and then puts in a great ball at the back post for Ryan Christie. Sees it coming all the way. Oh, that is a big chance. It really is. Disappointing that he's not been able to hit the target and test Kasper Schmeichel. You've got to say, neither goalkeeper's really been tested, but I get a feeling that we've actually looked possibly more threatening.
Yeah, created the better chances as Denmark though try and make us eat our words, but they won't do it with passes and control like that between Dolberg and Christensen, who was unable to bring that under control as the chip pass from the striker came through, and is behind for a goal kick. And with 6 minutes to play in this first period, Scotland arguably have created the better openings, but as it is, neither keeper has really had a save of note to make. as Angus Gunn prepares to take the goal kick. Right-footed, launches it long over the halfway line. Dykes will come and try and win it once more. Just couldn't get there, and Højbjerg did. Denmark get the ball forward. Here's Bire into the area. Suter trying to stay with him pace-wise. He's got it back to Dolberg, quickly closed down by a combination of Robertson and Hanley. Really good defending from Scotland to make sure the ball didn't get through. And now Robertson leads the counter-attack. Out to McGinn on the right-hand side. Robertson wants it back in a central area, but instead it's McTominay. He drives Scotland forward.
Christie's over the other side.
And that's exactly who he finds on the edge of the penalty area here. Slides it forward for Adams. Adams left-hand side of the box. Pokes it to Robertson. Robertson well advanced. He goes down a slight tug, but there was never any question of a penalty being awarded. And he loses control of the ball behind for a goal kick. 40 minutes on the clock. It is Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
I think it was Grant Hanley that made a really good block in the box from the strike, and obviously ricocheted, eventually landed at Andy Robertson, who drove forward really well. Just feels like we're on the cusp, you know, just getting to the edge there, that last little bit that's going to unlock that Danish defence and create a gilt-edged opportunity.
Denmark trying to do something similar at the other end though, as it's picked up by Dreer. Dreer now finding Damsgaard, able to run it. Hickey onto the right foot, tries to find the overlapping.
John McGinn, absolutely outstanding from that.
Claims for handball actually against McGinn. I don't think it would ever be given, but you just never know. Eventually McGinn was there was a Scotland player fouled inside their own penalty area. The home crowd voiced their frustration with that decision. Definitely comes back off Damsgaard and hits McGinn, but on the arm. But it was down by his side, Mikey. Surely no VAR is going to bring that back.
No danger. But I mean, the work ethic for John McGinn is outstanding, because he knows with Hickey on the inside, 1v1 against Damsgaard, he has to track that run for Mela on the outside. The ball gets slipped to him, and John McGinn's there to intercept. Absolutely vital play from John McGinn for the Scotland team.
Here's Dolberg coming down the left-hand side as Greece go 4-0 up before half-time. It's Denmark on the attack here in Copenhagen, looking to try and create something. Is Hjulman, but actually he has fouled.
Well, I'm not being funny. He's absolutely gone through Christie and halved him. All right, he's running with the ball, but I mean, I've got to say, there's been a few challenges for the Danes that the ref has turned a blind eye to. Yeah, well, he actually slips.
He stands on the ball, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, yes, there's no malice. I thought before it was that he was challenging Christie. He steps on the ball and slips, but he still wipes him out.
He does, but with 2.5 minutes until the end of the 45, there are still no goals in the Parken Stadium, as Angus Gunn prepares to take the free kick from the edge of his own box. He'll launch it over the halfway line, again in search of Lyndon Dykes. Neither he nor the Danish defenders will get there, and it's out of play for a Denmark throw it deep in their own territory. Right hand side as they look to try and come forward. The referee says no further to Rasmus Christensen. Højbjerg goes and offers himself short, gets it back to Christensen, who then plays it to Andreas Christensen. Out to the left-hand side for Mela as Denmark look to try and open the scoring before the interval here. It's been a very even feeling first half. Damsgaard with a little switch of play. Christensen knocks it back the way. Unfortunately for Scotland, it falls kindly for Ryan Christie, who'll try and bring it forward.
He does brilliantly. Dykes has just done really well there as well.
Eventually though loses out to Anderson. Down goes Højbjerg, and Christie is going to go into the boot there. Højbjerg going down, poleaxed. Christie tending to him as if he has caught him. Certainly the referee definitely feels like he was caught by the Scotland player, and it's another yellow card, this time for Ryan Christie.
Watching the replays, fair enough.
Catches him quite high. There's not a lot of contact, but a slight concern here would be that VAR take a dimmer view of that, and the referee...
Well, it was just the initial angle. I didn't actually think that he'd caught him, but he has. It's a yellow card, fair enough for the ref. But as I said, there's been quite a few others that you're looking at and going, he's let the Danes away with a number of them.
Andy Robertson in conversation with the referee and Højbjerg at the moment as a potential VAR check goes on that challenge. Christie, just one of those ones that kind of skiffed the kneecap almost. Højbjerg's fine. It wasn't, as I say, a lot of contact in it, but just how high he caught him was a slight cause for concern, but certainly no immediate indication that there is a continuing check for a potential red card offence. The referee has moved back into the centre of play and the free kick is taken, so nothing untoward for Scotland, but there might be from the free kick, which is taken short, but another poor delivery from the right hand side, this time from Damsgaard, who's like so much better than that. A minute added on at the end here of the opening 45, and I mean, we'll welcome that all day long, Mikey, but I'm just surprised at the lack of quality that's come in from the Danes.
Aye, yeah, but also, I mean, when they've got into those areas, they've never really looked to continue to drive in field or continue to get to the byline and get a cutback. They've tried to play an early ball, and as you've said, so far the quality's not really been there.
We are into that 1 minute of added on time as McGinn from the right hand side plays it forward, one for Shea Adams to chase, his second favourite, and beaten to it by Anderson, who gets it back to his goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, who then leaves it once more to the centre back. He plays it square to Christensen as the referee brings the first half to a close, and highly satisfactory first half, you would have to say, for Scotland, who have most certainly given as good as they've got. No major efforts on goal, you would have to say, but certainly openings that Scotland might have made more of. Perhaps the best one of those came 6 minutes before the interval when McGinn from the right hand side drove it towards the back post, and Ryan Christie, who saw it all the way, got his head to it but headed it wide of target when perhaps he should have done better. At the other end early on there was a Hulman effort straight at gun, but he was offside in any case. Dykes headed over the crossbar, McGinn volleyed wide at the back post from a corner as well when he might have done better himself, and then Beeret on the edge of the Scotland penalty area took a poor touch when a better one would certainly have put him in with a goal scoring opportunity. But as it is, very even in the opening period in Copenhagen, with the scoreline at half time is Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
Scotland in the World Cup qualifiers.
Goal Scotland! Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound with the first of our World Cup qualifiers. Goalless at half-time. Denmark certainly dominant in terms of possession, 70% for them. 5 shots apiece, just the one shot on target that's come from the home side, but nothing really threatening either goal so far. Willie Miller and Tom English alongside me here in the studio in Glasgow. Willie, your thoughts on that first half?
It's been a good first half, very positive, I feel. Although Denmark had the bulk of possession, they didn't do enough with it. The tempo was quite low key as well, I felt, and in particular just dreadful their use of the ball from wide areas. I mean, absolutely criminal most of the time. I don't know how many either side that they had, a good handful anyway, where you're thinking that can really hurt Scotland, but the quality, the delivery was just dreadful. Yeah. So I think from that point of view, you know, from both sides, Mela and Damsgaard in particular, I felt down the left hand side, but down the right hand side too. With Dreyer and Christensen, and not a great deal up front. The one opportunity, Beeret, when I thought that the Scotland got themselves just spread a little bit. 2 centre backs. I must say, 2 centre backs have played extremely well.
Yes.
You know, they've been a very fine block there. But that was a big chance. If he'd have been able to control that, then the likelihood is that it would have ended up in the back of the net. But what I would say is, impressed by Scotland, impressed by their organisation. Defensively, they did well. And going forward too, you know, they've created probably 3 opportunities. Have all fallen to Christie, isn't it? Christie cross perhaps was the one that Adams just couldn't get on the end of. The curling shot wasn't a great effort.
No.
It should have been better. And the header, probably
good chance.
the best chance of the game for Scotland. He's got to do better. He's coming. Maybe he's got too long to make his mind up. Sometimes you're better if you just react to these things and you don't have time to think about it. So yeah, a good positive first half. Scotland creating opportunities. Denmark having the bulk of play, but looking dreadful with in the final third with their decision making and the quality of some of the crosses into the box. So long may that continue. And the two strikers don't look a threat, or the number 9, number 10 don't look a threat so far anyway. And I think Suter and Hanley have been really strong. Grant Hanley in particular, really strong in 1-to-1s, reading the situation well and stopping it at the halfway line, stopping some of the attacks at the halfway line. So I think Steve Clarke will be more than delighted with the first half.
Yeah, famous last words here, Tom, but they don't seem to offer an awful lot, Denmark, from what we've seen in that first half. Actually, I think when it gets to the area, a lack of quality from both sides. I think we could have done better with the breaks that we've had. And the amount of times when they've gotten into good positions, it's hit the first man, or as Willie said, great defending from the central two.
Yeah, like Denmark, I expected more from them. I'm delighted they're not getting more, because Scotland are comfortable in this game. And I know I shouldn't say it, we shouldn't talk this way, because we're going to make ourselves hostage to fortune. But Denmark look okay and nothing more than that. And Scotland are comfortable. Scotland are defending really well, as Willie was saying. Dykes is causing a lot of bother up front with his physicality. He's doing well. And this is a cosy. I know Scotland have had no shot on target, but Denmark have only won, and that was kind of tame enough. Their quality just isn't there. They're not, they don't have much pace in the team, Denmark. They're not. There's no slick passing. They're not getting in behind Scotland. Not even threatening to cut Scotland open, which is great. They've had 63% of the possession and really done very little with it. Scotland are doing fine in this game, and they're giving Denmark a little bit to think about as well, because they've created a couple of half decent chances. So this is going well.
Willie, I think what I'm seeing here in terms of the group, so it's 4-0 to Greece at home to Belarus in the other game, and just to pick up on the point that Tom's making there, I think the way that Greece at points cut us open, the pace of their attacks, the quality, they are perhaps going to be the biggest threat in this group, because right now we're not seeing anything like that from the Danes.
I think on the evidence of the first 45, I would have to say that would be correct, because I was expecting much more from the Danes. I think their performance, although it's been positive from our point of view, it's been really disappointing from their point of view, and it's just simply the quality, because although they haven't created too many opportunities, they've got themselves in positions where they should have been creating opportunities. They should have been making it difficult for our defenders to defend, and they haven't done that, simply because the delivery from the wide areas, both sides of the park, been dreadful, absolutely dreadful. If that continues, if they could sharpen up with that, if they could get themselves maybe a little bit closer to the byline before they put the cross in, if the cross could be a little bit more positive in terms of putting it into an area that's going to be difficult to defend, then it'd be a much more difficult second half if they could do that. But in the evidence of the first half, they haven't been able to do that. So for me, it's been pretty easy for the Scotland to defend against them when they have had the ball in the wide areas. And as Tom says, going through the middle, they haven't looked like they're going to link, they're going to play a little 1-2, or they've got one of the strikers running in behind, and they haven't looked threatening. So if that continues, we've got to be happy. But if it doesn't, I just feel that they're in positions that they should be doing better. Yes, we're defending well enough, but their attacking prowess has been really poor.
Michael, happy with what you've seen so far? I think Grant Hanley's done very well in the first half. John McGinn's looked good. Ryan Christie full of energy. As Willie said, we look fairly comfortable in this game.
Aye, absolutely. I mean, there's only that one instant, Willie's talking about they've not looked like they're going to play quick, incisive football. There was that one instance where Dahlberg into Dreyer, and he reverses into Beirut, but he didn't get it under control when they went right through the middle of the edge of the box, and you were a little bit apprehensive then. And Angus Gunn was quick to react. Andy Robertson was round filling in as well. But absolutely, They've not hit the byline. They've tried to play an early ball when they're sort of what you would class as almost in behind the defence, but the quality's not been particularly great. They've thrown balls in from deeper areas that the centre-halves have been able to deal with really well. But, you know, I would agree with Willie, they've got into certain areas that they've not been able to capitalise on. But I think we have as well. You know, I think there's been a number of occasions where we've got into some really dangerous areas, but we've just not been able to deliver that decisive pass or have that strike. You think Christie on the edge of the box where he tries to bend one, he doesn't catch it particularly well. I think Andy Robertson, when he got down the left, he tried to play the early ball, but it came off his heel a little bit and went behind for the corner. John McGinn's had that one from the corner at the back post that he probably could have came and headed instead of trying to volley. John McGinn as well, that inside of the right edge of the box when he thought you were going to try and dink inside and have a strike, but he put the cross back in. So there's been a number. I think of Ryan Christie's header. You know, by the way, I mean, you know, all these opportunities tot up. They've not been gilt edge, but they've been, you know, threatening as much as the Danes have. So I think very, very positive. And the other thing that, you know, from the manager's perspective is he'll be looking at this and thinking, I've got threats on the bench here that I can bring on, you know, to really open things up. You think of Ben Doak, he's going to, I would imagine, I can see him down here warming up on the park at the moment. He comes onto the park, he's somebody that's got blistering pace, because Tom's right, the Danes have not got what you would class as any sort of blistering really quick players, and I think Scotland have performed really well. And if you think of a Bowie and a Doak coming onto the park, that's exciting. I think Che Adams is the only one that I would say you're looking for a bit more. He's not held the ball up particularly well. He's lost and been a little bit loose in possession at times. He's not really been able to affect the game, whereas you look at what Lyndon Dykes has done, he's an absolute, you know, pest. He's a nuisance, and he's such a huge asset for Scotland when he's like that.
If it gets to 70 minutes and it's like this, the balance of the game, the flow of the game is like this, does Steve Clarke go on the offensive, or does he go, do you know what, we'll get out of here with a point and that'll do nicely?
No, time will tell, Tom, on that one. I would suggest that he hasn't.
On the car.
He really hasn't shown that in the past. I mean,
I know.
If you're the Scotland manager and it's your opening game, it's against Denmark, one of the favourites. Okay, Greece are doing fabulous tonight and will be a major threat. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to go gung ho. He might make positive changes, thinking that he could win it on the evidence of what we're seeing as well. You know, them not being as much of a threat going forward, and also looking a little bit open whenever we get the chance to go at them. Then, you know, I think he would make changes and it would be positive changes. But I don't think he's going to go gung ho.
Yeah. There is that opportunity, isn't there, to go with a hammer blow. On you go, Michael.
Kenny, I was just going to say, the one thing I would think about is if it gets to 70 minutes and Denmark are in the same sort of pattern of play, and I was chucking Ben Doak on, I'd perhaps think about putting him on this left-hand side rather than over on the right, because Mela plays so high and John McGinn's doing so much hard work out of possession. That's not something that Ben Doak would naturally look to do. So if you're looking to gamble a wee bit, you would still want to be cautious of what the Danes could do in an attacking sense, and I'd maybe think about putting Ben Doak on the left-hand side, because there's an opportunity there with Christensen, the right full-back, who tucks in that little bit, and you could perhaps get on the outside of him in a football. To be perfectly honest, Ben Gannon Doak in a foot race would fancy himself against anybody.
I think it's fair to say, Michael, the game is there for the taking tonight, isn't it? And it's hard for the manager, because we could strike an absolute hammer blow to them, get off the flyer ourselves. Yep. But, you know, it's weighing that up, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a risk assessment, really. It's, you know, trying to assess the balance of risk in terms of how much you want to gamble. I would, you know, I instinctively want to gamble. I want to go and try and, you know, win games of football, but it's a lot easier when you're not the one that's heads on the block, you know, as the manager is. Yeah. But I think there's a good balance to be had there. You know, putting on an attacking player like Ben Doak or a Kieran Bowie, I don't think it's, you know, revolutionising or completely throwing the game plan out the window at all. I think it gives it a different dynamic, but you're still going to be looking as a very strong and solid unit. And we've got 2 strikers on there. You know, you could be taking one of them off and putting another midfielder on, and a wide player as well at the same time. You know, there are options there, but you've got to say, so far the manager's side that he's put out have delivered a pretty good performance. The first game in the World Cup qualifiers away from home against the pot 1 side.
Yeah, it's right we say that, Willie. Fair play to Steve Clarke, because there were eyebrows raised at the start of the game, but so far he looks to have got it bang on. It'd be great to see Kieran Bowie get his opportunity. For me, in its early days, of course, in the season, but he's one of the stars of the show, and as a striker, he has to be so full of confidence, and he's got so much to his game.
Yeah, and I think as the game goes on, it would be in the manager's mind, surely. And he did speak about Ben Doak as well, you know, having an impact, you know, not ready to start tonight, but having an impact in possibly this game and certainly the games in the future. So either of these two, and, you know, I don't think Shea Adams he's worked particularly hard, but I don't think he's been that impressive. So, you know, he started with a positive 2 up front, so there could be a change there, I think, with Bowie in particular, and I don't think it would disrupt his formation or the team pattern that he wants to play. We'll have to wait and see as they come out for the second half.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So we're underway in their journey. Hopefully it'll end at the World Cup finals next summer. Let's get back to Copenhagen. We're up against Denmark tonight. Our team in the Parken Stadium is Michael Stewart and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Yeah, welcome back as the 2 sides make their way back onto the field of play, and it doesn't appear immediately there are going to be any half-time changes, which is not all that surprising. Very little to choose between the sides so far, but clearly maybe after an hour or thereabouts, either manager might begin to think about tweaking things as Denmark are about to get us underway. We could do with a match ball, to be fair. That's usually quite helpful when you're trying to resume a game. There we go. So Denmark then to kick us off once more, going from right to left as we look at it from the main stand here in the fabulous Parken Stadium. And it will be Damsgaard to kick us off, and he rolls it back the way to Andreas Christensen, and we're off and running once more. It's played forwards, but headed away by Christie. High in the air there from Joachim Andersen. Down goes Lewis Ferguson. Didn't really mention him at half-time. He's had I suppose, a quietly efficient game as Højbjerg finds Damsgaard. Hickey can't bring the ball under control, and now it's Mela, left-hand side. Højbjerg now will try and fire it out to the right-hand side. It's not a good ball at all. Christensen will do well to keep that in fact, he's failed to do so. And Denmark resuming with that just inability to really find a clinical pass in there, which we will quite happily take more of, and hope that Scotland can do something different though, as Andy Robertson takes the throw in on the left hand side, flicked on by Dykes. Adams can't get onto it. Damsgaard with a loose pass, and McGinn now finds Adams. Another poor touch from Shea Adams there. It's picked up by Denmark and knocked forward. Robertson gets it back to Gunn as the Danish fans try and ramp up the noise once more. Hickey down the right for McTominay. McTominay into Dykes. Lovely little layoff.
Good
for
touch.
A well advanced Hickey. Dykes just had to check his run there, and Hickey had tried to play it forward. You can understand why Dykes was just trying to stay onside, and a little mix up in the end. But again, promising signs even within that movement.
Yeah, absolutely. But the other concern is that, you know, every time Shea Adams is getting involved, he's not retaining possession, and the contrast and comparison with, you know, what Dykes is doing is stark, because every time he's taking it, or the vast majority of times, he's linking it and doing really well.
Anderson into beat it. Scotland get it cleared up to the halfway line, chested down by Dykes, as Michael says, is taking real good care of the ball. It's back with Robertson. He fires it forward. McGinn was the initial target. McGinn will try and get onto this. That's at the edge of the box. McGinn lays it into Christie. Oh, just wasn't enough on the pass. And Christensen able to slide in before Christie could get the strike away. McGinn just needed to give that a little bit more power, or else Scotland were in.
What an opportunity that is. John McGinn does brilliantly to begin with, just that body strength to pin Christensen, and then, as you said, all he needs to do is just get that weight of the pass right.
Scotland have it on the left hand side. Here's McTominay at the angle of the box.
He's in.
Yeah, he's got it into
Go on McGinn!
And it's closed down quickly by Mela. There will be a Scotland corner, but Scotland on the front foot at the start of this second period.
Very positive. Scott McTominay picking it up on the edge of the box, driving into the box past three Danes, cuts it back. Che Adams challenges with the defender, and it falls to John McGinn. He gets the strike away. I think it's Mela that gets the block. Is it out?
Yeah, he did well, to be fair, the fullback. Got out quickly to McGinn to block the shot sufficiently to send it behind for the corner. Lewis Ferguson preparing to take it from the left hand side. Scotland looking for the opening goal here in the Parkin Stadium. As it's just rolled back to McGinn. It's an outswinger. Hickey there with a poor header. Should have done better. It comes back to him. This time he gets flicked on by Hanley. Denmark struggling to get it clear. Hickey trying to keep the pressure on. Eventually,
good tackle.
Yeah, it had to be, because Hickey is on a yellow card. Can't take any chances there. It's a good challenge on Mela to prevent him getting it clear. But again, the header, Hickey's got a real chance there, and he just fails to get any decent connection on it.
Big time. I mean, it's a free header. He's stepping on it. You're thinking, go and test Schmeichel in the goal. As you said there, he just never really got the contact on it you had been hoping for.
But further promising signs for Scotland.
The Danes have not settled in the second half at all. We're only less than 5 minutes in, but Scotland are firmly on the front foot. The Danes have not really been able to get into our half.
Denmark have won the last three home games against
good play.
Scotland. McTominay in on the right hand side, goes for goal, saved by Schmeichel. Scotland can't pick up the second ball. It was the right foot of Schmeichel that he stuck out to prevent McTominay's shot finding the target, as Denmark try and come on the counter. Guns out of his box, he slices it out of play to prevent any threat on his goal. But at the other end, it was terrific play by Scott McTominay. What we've come to see from him
good
in a
tackle
Scotland jersey.
for McTominay as well.
He's hurt himself in the process, and it's going to be just a throw-in, but McTominay down writhing in a bit of pain there after the challenge in Damsgaard. But at the other end, Michael, it was, he did it all himself. He created the opportunity and he almost took it as well.
I'm just watching the replay, the challenge. I'm hoping it's more of an impact rather than jarring his knee. He's fully stretched out. I think it may well be he was just fully stretched out to block the inside run of Damsgaard, and I'm hoping that perhaps it's knee on knee. But brilliant play initially for Scott McTominay. He skips past two inside the box, strikes it really well down low, but Kasper Schmeichel had to save it with his boot.
It was a tight angle, wasn't it? That was only, I mean, it looked like it was going to be on target, but it was a relatively comfortable save, it appeared, from Schmeichel. But nonetheless, a test for him from McTominay as he's just in. He's
a player that you can see is just operating at the top level and full of belief and confidence that he's one of the best players out there. There's two moments in this second half where he's really caused the Danes problem, driving into that box, something that obviously he's doing a lot for Napoli. He's playing slightly deeper here tonight.
He's back on the field of play, seems to be running freely enough, but it's Denmark coming forward here now as Hjulman gets it out to the right hand side. Then Dreyer back for Hjulman once more, and now Damsgaard midway inside the Scotland half, right of centre. Højbjerg back to Anderson, and now Damsgaard takes over once more before leaving it to his captain, who plays it to Hjulman. Denmark again keeping possession but not really going anywhere. at this stage. Anderson inside the centre circle. Højbjerg then sends it out to the right hand side for Damsgaard, who looks up, tries to fire it into the box, cut out by Robertson, but it comes back to Damsgaard, sends it in again. This time it's McTominay clearing. Dykes gets something on it to help on, but Anderson picks up as Denmark begin to apply a bit of pressure. Here's Hjulman at the edge of the area, out to the right hand side for Damsgaard. It's a nice cut back, dummy. Oh, it's just wide. Great challenge in there. It was Højbjerg who got the effort off, and it was deflected wide.
I think it's Hanley that gets the block.
It's a terrific block, whoever it was, to send it just wide of target.
It really was. It's probably the best move that Denmark have had. Do you know what? I think the strike's actually going wide anyway. Grant Hanley gets the block on it. I think that shot's probably going wide.
Here's a corner, right hand side. Gunn gets another fist tip. Højbjerg meets it on the volley, but he's failed to hit the target from the edge of the box.
That was a huge chance for Højbjerg when it comes into the box. He steps on it, he can see it. It's perfectly weighted. I think it was Damsgaard that had stepped over it for him, and he really shouldn't have been given the Scottish defence an opportunity. He should have been slammed that in the back of the net, but fortunately for us, he didn't, and it's come to nothing.
Yeah, but chances at either end in this second period, but still no goals between Denmark and Scotland in this opening World Cup qualifier in Group C, as Schmeichel just digs out on that right hand side. Christie intercepts, but just knocks it out of play, but it is deep in the Denmark half that they will have this thrown. Scotland can try and hem them in a little. McTominay,
I'd love to see the likes of Bowie coming on. I just think that why not chuck Dykes and Bowie up top, because the two of them, their hold-up play is really good. Bowie's got good pace about him as well, and as Kenny was talking about at half-time, he's in good form, full of belief and confidence.
Yeah. Denmark throwing over on the far side. Listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland as it remains goalless. The ball's gone out on the far side for a Scotland throw-in, as Hickey will just send it back over to that far side. The Scotland left 0-0 then. It was a long time ago, certainly when Scotland last won here, September 1975. Even I wasn't born then, Michael.
Just
that's fair.
Months,
yes, couple, but nonetheless. I was also thinking back to that famous 1986 World Cup meeting. That was the first time Denmark had been at the World Cup, and they beat Scotland by a Preben Elkjær goal to 0. I can certainly remember watching that one as Christie picks up left hand side. Dreyer challenges him, but it breaks back to Ferguson. Christie's given it away.
Good work ethic there, Ferguson and Christie.
Referee's spotted something, I'm not sure what that's been given for, but it's a Denmark free kick.
It's obviously, I think somebody's handballed it, but
yeah.
Certainly didn't look like it, did it?
No. Anyway, here comes Andreas Christensen up to the halfway line, steps away from Adams, then plays it out to the right hand side. It's a decent ball for Rasmus Christensen. Now Dreyer, touch back here to Hjulman at the edge of the area, back out to the right hand side for Christensen once more. Decent delivery, but Hanley heads clear. Denmark have just lifted things in the last few minutes as they look for an opening goal here. 10 minutes gone in the second period, 0-0 it stands, as Anderson plays it back out to Christensen, well advanced in the Scotland.
That's the slight change in the second half. Christensen on the right side's getting a lot higher up. It was happening on the left obviously with Mela.
Here he is, Christensen sends it into the box. It's too high for Mela, but it will be collected by Damsgaard. Tries to get away from McTominay on this left hand side, gets a bit of room for the cross, headed away by Suter. Will come back to Mela though. Scotland struggling to get out of their own defensive third just at the moment. Dykes looking to put on a bit of pressure. Mela out to Damsgaard left hand side, Hickey closing him down. Now it's Mela once more.
It just feels like they're now balanced on both sides, with the full-backs up really high and the wide men tucking inside.
Damsgaard plays it forward, bit of a breakdown in communication there with Mela, and fortunately it just rolls behind for a Scotland goal kick, but a little bit of sustained pressure there from the Danes for the first time in this second period. But after almost 57 minutes, it's still Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
Yeah, still very positive for Scotland, and I do, when you're looking at that, the Danes are obviously trying to commit a few extra, well, not a few, but that one in particular, Christensen getting higher up as well, leaving the two centre halves at the back, Anderson and Christensen. And I just wonder if you introduce that little bit of blistering pace, there is an opportunity to really counter with pace against the Danes.
Human under pressure, but too much pressure. That's not a yellow card.
The referee is honestly...
That is a really weird decision.
He's so hot on Scotland, and he's allowed the Danes away with far worse.
I mean, Lewis Ferguson, he's overly physical there. It's definitely a foul. In no circumstances is that a yellow card, surely. But it is.
Unfortunately, in the referee's circumstances, he views it as. But as I said, he's allowed the Danes away with a lot worse.
And I don't think we're saying that with Scottish tinted glasses on. We're just reading that as a fair, well, not a fair challenge, but definitely not a booking. Anyway, Ferguson into the book as Denmark come forward up
Good
to the edge of the
Hickey.
penalty area, but Hickey reads it all the way and finds him again.
Really well.
Back to Hickey once more, right hand side, moves away from Mela, back in field. McGinn now, can he find the pass for Adams? Adams
in the middle.
Dykes square with him.
Dykes is in.
Big chance for Lyndon Dykes, takes a touch, defenders back, Lyndon Dykes, and he's blocked. Really had to take the chance on early, they let the defender get back. Again, Scotland get into such a good position and they can't make the most of it.
What a break. What a break for Scotland. Hickey and McGinn down the right hand side, really good. A lovely ball down the line for Adams, and he does brilliantly as well to play the ball inside for Dykes. It's just his first touch, Al. He really wants to be getting that first touch across the face of the defender.
Robertson swings it back into the area, good header away by Anderson.
This game's here for the taking, by the way.
It's really toing and throwing just at the moment, but it's Scotland with the upper hand as things stand in the 59th minute.
Oh, great ball.
Yeah, here's Christie, left hand side, back to Robertson. Robertson cuts it back beyond Adams. Hickey keeps it alive. McGinn back to Hickey once more, left footed wide of goal. And it's still goalless here in the Parkin Stadium. Both sides with their chances in this second period, but Lyndon Dykes, just a couple of moments ago, that glorious opportunity, as Michael says, his first touch let him down, and Christensen was able to recover and get the block in.
It wasn't a terrible first touch, it just wasn't exactly what he needed. He really needed to be getting his touch back across the face of the defender, and then the defender's either pulling him down and getting red carded, or he's got to let him go.
Yeah. But certainly signs that Scotland can find gaps, but here's Denmark trying to do likewise. It's Mela in an advanced position, sends it to the back post. Robertson with the back header, clear only as far as Christensen, closed down by Christie, fires it back across goal, but it's way too much in that from the fullback. He's disappointed, understandably, with himself, because it's a really poor cross, and Scotland will have the throw in as we're going to get the first change of the night, and it's Dolberg who's being replaced pretty much on the hour mark, and on will come on Albert Grombeck for the closing half hour. So Denmark the first to go to their bench. Kasper Dolberg's certainly been pretty quiet, new Ajax player, rather than deciding to join Brendan Rodgers' Celtic side on the deadline day, as Scotland then prepare to take the throw in deep in their own half, right hand side. 0-0 just beyond the hour mark.
Aaron Hickey's throw, just, we've worked our way out, but just a little bit of thought when you're playing that shy. You've got Ferguson there, McTominay was before as well. Just play it so that they can hit it first time. He threw it and it was a little bit difficult. They had to take a touch, and it allowed the Danes to close them down.
Shea Adams penalised for his challenge on Joachim Andersen there.
Penalised for nothing. I mean, seriously, the ball comes up and Anderson's over the top of the Scottish forward. He comes down, hurts his foot, falls down, and they get a free kick for it.
Grombeck's gone in just behind the striker, which is pretty much where Dolberg was playing, but Damsgaard is almost, they're playing like 2-10s now, aren't they? Grombeck and Damsgaard for Denmark, as they come forward now
Yeah, but I mean, that's been a noticeable ploy in this second half.
Yeah.
On both sides, you've got Christensen on the right, Melo on the left, and the two wide men cutting in his tens.
Damsgaard to the back post, a good ball. Mela tries
What
to get
a
across
block.
goal. Aaron Hickey gets his body in the way because Mela looked like he was in at the back post. Aaron Hickey gets the praise from his goalkeeper, who wasn't forced into the save as a result of the block from Hickey.
That is an unbelievably good bit of defending from Aaron Hickey. You know, he does that so well, where he tucks in and he's so aware of what's going on when the ball's coming from the other side, and then he's got out and made an invaluable block.
Here's a corner, glanced on at the near post, but behind once more for another corner. It's a dangerous ball on that one from Damsgaard, flicked on, but it's a Scotland head who got to it last to send it behind once more. 63 almost played, and it's still goalless. The referee wants a word with a couple inside that penalty area before this latest corner is taken from the left hand side, once again by Damsgaard. It's another good delivery, but McTominay rises highest. Out comes Gunn, punches it away out to the left hand side, and out of play.
Looking and wondering, could he have caught it all?
I think there's been a number of occasions where he punches it when he could have caught it, but that's his style, so I don't think he's ever going to catch these ones. Anyway, here's Højbjerg, right hand side, as Denmark now take their turn in a game that has been, particularly in the second half, very topsy-turvy. Both sides just letting the handbrake off a little bit. Here they come at the edge of the box. Chances there, and it's wide of target. Well, some of those Denmark fans thought it was in. Was it left? The left boot of Anders Dreyer from 25 yards. Gunn threw himself to his left, but fortunately for him, it went wrong side of the post as far as the Danes are concerned. Rippled the side netting, but it remains Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
Yeah, from our position it looked very, very close and very dangerous, but I think the goalkeeper, to be fair, had it covered, and it ultimately was never really threatening the goals. It was always on the outside. Great play from McGinn.
McGinn slides it down the right for Lyndon Dykes now. Dykes looks up, he's got a couple in the box. Can he hit one of them? Over Adams and doesn't reach Christie. It's headed away as far as McGinn. McGinn on the right hand side. Oh, it's a beautiful pass. It was perfectly judged. And Robertson now picks up, looks for Dykes on the stretch. He just can't get there. McGinn will go and keep that in though. Right on the byline, tries to beat his man who's Mela, and can't get past him, but does win the corner. 65 played. It really is there for the taking, but it could go out either way. Absolutely, it's difficult to call.
That's a wonderful ball from Andy Robertson, by the way. Just so close to Lyndon Dykes getting on the end there. It was great play for John McGinn. Perfectly weighted ball for Robertson, who took a wonderful first touch and took Dreyer out of the game.
Here's McGinn in with the corner from the right hand side, left footed, 0-0 between Denmark and Scotland, as McGinn curls it in left footed towards the back post. No one really wanted to go and attack that. Ferguson eventually wins it, gets it back to Robertson. Robertson will swing it back. Great ball. Adams just doesn't go and attack it. It looked to be there to be slotted into the back of the net, but Adams just hesitated, and it's gone out in the end for a throw-in. But another brilliant ball from Andy Robertson.
What a ball that is.
Could Adams have thrown himself at that one?
Do you know, I mean, it's easy saying here, but I don't think he was ever going to be able to get on the end of it there, Al.
Maybe just a little bit too far away from it, as the throw-in is taken by Denmark. Grombeck has knocked it out of play though. The Genoa midfielder. A number of those Scots will be well known to him from Serie A, as Hickey takes the throw-in down the right to McGinn. McGinn almost at the corner flag. Again, he tries to buy the corner, but it's actually gone out for a throw-in to Scotland down at the corner flag.
He's been good tonight, John McGinn. He really has. And a number of the Scots have been very good tonight, and the Tartan Army are in full voice now.
Certainly are. Away to our right, just down where McTominay is trying to get the better of his marker there. Gets it back to Hickey. Hickey then runs into Grombeck. Oh, he has got to be careful, and Steve Clark has maybe got to just consider. I've noticed Max Johnston at half-time. In fact, Max Johnston's about to come on. There's no reflection whatsoever on Aaron Hickey's performance, as Scotland try and pin Denmark back, but they've played round that press pretty well. But Max Johnston, partly because Hickey will be, I guess, feeling the effects He's not played a lot of football basically in a couple of years, but he's also treading a fairly fine line.
Well played.
As McTominay wins the ball back, plays it forward for
John McGinn's going to get that.
Knocks Melo off the ball. McGinn, still John McGinn, just beavering away there, just would not give that up, and he's got possession. And now it's back with McTominay, clipped off the head there of Gulman. Schmeichel comes off his line and punches clear. Robertson tries to get it back in. He gets the break of the ball. Here he is.
Oh, great touch.
Left hand side. Robertson stands up. It's over Dyke's, and Schmeichel takes it. McGinn has put absolutely everything. He's really back to his best in a Scotland shirt. A few had criticised some recent displays, but he is
it's a performance
phenomenal out there.
It's a performance full of energy and desire from the Scots, you've got to say.
Max Johnston.
You just feel at this moment, Al, fortune could well and truly favour the brave. I just think if we press home a little bit more, I mean, this could be look, we'd take 0-0, but I think taking 3 points here would be absolutely fabulous, and I think we're capable.
We're just beyond the midway point in the second half. It's Andreas Christensen for Anders Dreyer out on the right hand side. Is Damsgaard almost at the byline, stands that one up into the middle. It's over McTominay. Was he getting a shove there from Højbjerg? Seemed to be, but anyway, Scotland clear the lines, no free kick given. Max Johnston is now going to come on, and Aaron Hickey's game is over. He's had a terrific game.
He's been outstanding, isn't he?
Yeah,
he really has. I mean, it looks like he's never been away.
Yeah, superb performance from Hickey, but after 69 minutes almost of a fairly frenetic game out there, and also being on a yellow card. Max Johnston of Derby County now will come on, having made the move from Sturm Graz in the summer, having won another Bundesliga out there in Austria, and on he comes for a third Scotland cap as Denmark have it. It's Hjulman into the feet there of Dreyer, but he's dispossessed. Christie has it on the edge of his own area. Back the way to Robertson, who hoists it up towards the halfway line. Adams will go and try and make something of it, and then he's bundled to the ground, and it's a free kick to Scotland, and that's more like it from Shea Adams.
Brilliant. Really, really good and important. Just gets on the other side to Anderson, and then the ball ricochets and plays for him, gets his body in really well, and the defender comes in and fills him from behind.
5-0 Greece as they romp to victory against Belarus. We'll see how the Scots fare against them in the coming days. Denmark have got a free kick to defend here, to be taken by Andy Robertson. A couple of more changes going to be made by Denmark, but not before this free kick. Rasmus Højlund, Victor Froholt going to come on as Robertson clips it into a dangerous area, just evades Shea Adams, and all the way through to Schmeichel, who immediately launches it long. First test for Johnston, that was a handball. Yeah, it's a free kick to Denmark. What's this going to be? A yellow card. Well, I think the Denmark players are saying, was it denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity? I think that would be incredibly harsh, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, surely they couldn't. A genuine attempt to go and head it, and he just slightly misjudges it.
Slightly misjudges it, but I'd also say that Mika Bierut, he has his arm on him and just ever so slightly nudges him, which probably means that split second where he misjudges it could well be down to the challenge that was there.
There is a potential red card check going on, but that would be ridiculously harsh. I would have to say, I saw a really harsh one go against Aberdeen in the...
But I mean, if they're looking at this, you've got to take into consideration the fact that the challenge from Mika Bierut, who doesn't, he puts his arm on Max Johnston, look, see here, and pulls him.
Oh, you'd like
he
to
pulls
think,
his arm.
Like to think the VAR are taking that into account when they're looking at this. Oh, he's coming across. Oh my goodness, this could be a very short international appearance for Max Johnston, just on the park as a substitute. And Andy Robertson's coming across to speak. Well, he's making a point to the referee that he was pushed.
That's the thing. It's not so much a push. He has his arm on Max Johnson's right arm, and it's the slightest of touches. But you're talking about the slightest of misjudgments from Max Johnson. You can't ignore Mika Beirut touching Max Johnson's arm. And it's that arm that effectively is what they're about to claim has touched the ball and potentially causing him to be sent off.
Now the referee having a look at it on the monitor now. Various things to decide. I mean, it's quite far away from goal, but if Johnson doesn't touch the ball there, then Beirut is through on goal. However, as Michael says, there was
contact from the striker.
Definitely goes to try and influence it.
I mean, you're looking at it from the angles they're showing here are so far away. I don't see how the referee's going to see the challenge. Well done.
Oh, he's stuck with his decision.
He's been overly officious on a few occasions with the Scots, but on that occasion you've got to say, well played the ref.
Massive sigh of relief for Max Johnston and all of the Tartan Army here. You can hear what the home fans think about it, but again, I think even looking at this purely objectively, I think that's the right decision. As Froholt comes on for Beirut, and for Dreyer, and Beirut is replaced by Rasmus Højlund. Denmark will have the free kick about 15 yards inside the Scotland half as a result of that Johnston handball. But the relief is that Scotland still have 11 men on the park. I think Belarus have got one goal back, nothing more than a consolation probably. Just over a quarter of an hour to play in Athens as they trail by 5-1 now against Greece. Denmark have taken the free kick. Scotland with everyone behind the ball just for the moment. 0-0 here in the Parken Stadium. This game really could go either way. Both sides with decent chances in the second half, none of them taken. Goalless with just over a quarter of an hour to play.
Just wondering that surely the manager's looking at a few more substitutions just purely from an energy perspective.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Here's Grombeck, left hand side up against Johnston, comes in field, could we get a shot away here? Brilliant challenge from Lyndon Dykes back there doing the defending. Adams just hacks it away anywhere will do to try and get Scotland up the park. But Lyndon Dykes, yet again, a Scotland jersey has been absolutely fabulous on that occasion, putting a sliding challenge in his own penalty area.
Yep, brilliant, because when it looked as if Grombeck was cutting on the inside, it looked as if there was an opening there, but Lyndon Dykes does brilliantly to close it off.
It's Denmark in possession here through Hjulman, about 35 yards from goal. Now it's Højbjerg taking over. Out to the right hand side, sent into the area. Suter goes and does enough to put Højlund off there at the edge of the penalty area. Johnston tries to help it clear. McTominay trying to get there, so too Ferguson. Breaks the way of Christensen at the edge of the box, right hand side. Fires it in dangerously, and Johnson just turns that behind for a corner right across the 6-yard box there.
You've got to make subs. You're just inevitably getting a little bit tired, dropping slightly. We need an injection of energy into the side.
It certainly feels that way as the corner is about to be swung in from the Danish left by Damsgaard. Back post balls well won by Hanley, who's also been a real rock at the back for Scotland despite the doubters, as Denmark have a throw in over on the far side. We've got 14 to play. It's 0-0 between Denmark and Scotland in this massive World Cup qualifier. Scotland have had their chances, particularly second half. So too have the hosts, but as yet none have been converted. But at the moment it's Denmark looking the likelier. Here they come down the right hand side. Across goes Robertson, can't stop the pass coming in, claims for a penalty, but I mean very, very optimistic from certainly our vantage point as Ferguson went in and made the challenge. Adams on the halfway line is doing well. He's eventually been crowded out, and then he slightly lashes out, and he's gone into the referee's notebook for a foul as he lay on the deck. And Denmark will get the free kick.
I mean, it's a booking every day of the week, to be perfectly honest. He'd initially pinned the Danish defender and then lashed out at him.
It's Damsgaard into the penalty area. Well won there by Højlund. Tried to direct it back across goal, but Andy Robertson showing good strength just to outmuscle the Denmark player who was trying to get it back in there.
I can't quite believe that we're sitting with 5 bookings and never had one.
Yeah.
Also looking at see if anybody's getting called back to get stripped up. We're almost at 80 minutes. I'm very surprised that there's not been more substitutes made.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Gannon Doak, as we should call him now, is among the players. I was going to say warming up, actually. They're just standing watching the game up near the corner flag at the moment, as Denmark have a period of ascendancy, but McTominay trying to do something about that. Dykes trying to hold his run. Still it's McTominay. Now it's out to the right hand side for Dykes, who looks like he's tiring as he tried to play that ball forward. It's back to Schmeichel from Christensen. He hacks it down the left hand side. Johnston just nudges Grönbeck out the way there, and it's a Scotland throw-in. 78 on the clock. Denmark 0, Scotland 0. Down the right it goes. McGinn penalised. Just uses his backside as he likes to do, but the German officials didn't like that.
I'm not being funny. At no point is Mela capable of getting that ball. So just because John McGinn's used his strength and basically ushered the ball down the line and Mela doesn't get there and he falls down, that doesn't constitute a free kick.
Agreed. Denmark though do get the free kick, and it's taken, and here they come down the right hand side looking for the opening goal of the game. It's Damsgaard who's looked lively, particularly second half. That's a neat little flick for Højbjerg. His shot is semi-blocked. Again, it's Grant Hanley out there to charge it down, behind for a corner again.
Great block for Hanley again.
Denmark will have the corner over on the right hand side to be taken by Damsgaard. Right hand side as Denmark try to break the Scots resistance. And it comes as the outswinger. It's glanced on by Robertson at the near post. Gunn will go and try and catch that one. He was being fouled as he was falling there, and it will be a free kick to Scotland.
Catches that one well, Al.
It is, yes. Yeah, I'll give him that. As with 10 minutes to play, still no further changes from Scotland. Just that Max Johnston replacement for Aaron Hickey, as Angus Gunn prepares to take the free kick from inside his 6-yard box. Scotland have performed really well out there over the course of the 80 minutes, but still 10 plus to go as Højbjerg picks up in the middle of the park. Ferguson felt he was being fouled, but it's picked up by Froholt, one of the substitutes. Back to Anderson, and now to Højbjerg out to the right hand side for Christensen. Christensen well advanced, leaves it to Højbjerg once more on the right flank. Christie's with him. Back it goes to Damsgaard. Scotland get everyone back within 20 yards of their own goal as Højbjerg looks to try and find a way through. Picked up once more by Froholt. Now
we're just a yard short now. Too many.
Damsgaard sends it in dangerously. Grant Hanley's at the near post to head it behind. Steve Clark. And here comes Gannon Doak. Actually, we are going to get the change that you can imagine the nation have been looking for. Is Gannon Doak at least, maybe also.
And Doig, is it? No, Hurst as well.
Isn't it? With a bleached blonde hair as the corner's taken into the near post. Scotland again deal with it well. Picked up by Froholt, gets it back out to the right hand side to Damsgaard, but Scotland need to get out of their own area here as it's sent back in by Hulman. Højlund's sends it on, a little pull there from Max Johnston. He's got to be careful as Grönbeck got the better of him. The shot came in, and yet again it's deflected behind for another Danish corner, but Max Johnston's looked a little bit uncertain since coming on. He misjudged the bounce of the ball, and yet again it's Grant Hanley getting out to make that block.
Hanley's been outstanding. You've got to say Max Johnston was a split second away from giving a penalty kick away there. He just let go in the nick of time.
There's a Scotland player going down inside the 6-yard box that the referee wants a word about before this corner comes. 3 changes actually about to come as Kenny McLean is also stripped. Here's the corner from Damsgaard, left-hand side, headed high in the air by McTominay out of the penalty area. Denmark looking to keep the pressure on. Surely there was an offside. Yeah, their assistant has put his flag up, and that allows Scotland to make these changes then. Ben Gannon-Doak, George Hurst and Kenny McLean for the final 8 minutes plus stoppage time. Who's coming off? Adams is the one who's going to be replaced by George Hurst. Also coming off will be Ryan Christie. He'll be replaced by Kenny McLean. And one more is Lyndon Dykes to be replaced by Ben Gannon-Doak, the young man who we're all excited to see in a Scotland jersey once more. So that should give us the energy in the legs we're looking for, that you were asking for, Michael.
Oh yeah, Gannon-Doak obviously blistering pace. Hurst freshness up top. I mean, he's looked absolutely fine in a Scotland jersey so far.
You just wanted Kieran Bowie on, didn't you?
Well, yes, to be perfectly blunt. Aye. Extra legs in the middle of the park with Kenny McLean.
So Scotland now, who have spent the last 10 minutes or so, it feels, largely on the back foot, trying to come forward, but Højbjerg's one possession up towards Hoyland. Grant Hanley fouling him in the referee's view. Denmark get the free kick just inside the Scotland half. There's more of an urgency now about Denmark's play. They will feel they really need to take the 3 points from this opening qualifier, and it's 0-0 as it stands after almost 84 minutes. But they are putting Scotland under a bit more concerted pressure right now as it's back the way to Anderson, out to the right hand side, and it comes from Damsgaard, who's been more influential this second half.
Here we go, turn and play it.
Johnson.
Turn and play it.
Can he find them? Can he find them? Can he find Ben Gannon-Doak? He just doesn't see him. He just did not see him, George Hurst, and he's won inside the free kick, but there's just got to be better awareness there, isn't there, from George Hurst, because Ben Gannon-Doak, with his pace, he was away if the pass had come.
Aye, but just unfortunately he's spun the other way and he's on his blind side, and Anderson, the Danish defender, was always touch tight with him, and he just never had the opportunity to be able to lift his head. We're all sitting here, we can see it, but on the park there it was difficult for Hurst because he was battling with the defender, and as I said, the initial run was on his blind side. He wouldn't have seen him.
The yellow card was issued to Anderson for the pullback eventually on Hurst as Ferguson takes his free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area. Gannon-Doak trying to make something of it.
He's in.
Inside, he's at the byline. He's gone for goal, but it's too tight an angle, but it has taken a deflection on its way as Gannon-Doak makes his entrance to the game and wins Scotland a corner.
He does really well. Just muscles in behind the defender.
5 to play. Denmark 0, Scotland 0 in the Parken Stadium in Copenhagen as the Tartan Army get right behind their side once more, trying to suck this ball into the net, which Kasper Schmeichel is defending. The one the Tartan Army are behind as across goes Ferguson to the left hand side to send this one in. Can Scotland find a winner here? Oh, the referee wants a word with someone before the corner can be taken. It is sent into the area by Ferguson, but it'll have to be taken again as Hanley and looks like Mela get talking to Hanley, just bundled Mela into the net, to be fair. So Lewis Ferguson will try again from the left hand side. Scotland looking for a first victory in Denmark since 1975. 50 years in the making as Ferguson is poised, curls it in towards the back post. McGinn rises, but there's never any real chance of him getting that back across goal under fairly significant pressure, and it feels like a chance wasted there for Scotland, and it remains goalless with 3.5 left of the 90. Denmark bring it out from the back. It's Christensen for Højbjerg, brings it up towards the halfway line, then plays it down the left to Mela. Mila back the way to Andreas Christensen, and then he'll play it into Damsgaard. Out to the right hand side for the other Christensen.
Well done.
Well challenged by Doak, but it just goes out of play. And Denmark get the throw in. Goalless it stands in the closing stages. Scotland minutes away from what could be a very precious point, as Maley picks up left hand side and looks to try and take on Johnston. Then he goes back the way to Højbjerg. Højbjerg square now for Damsgaard once more. He's been allowed too much room at the edge of the box. Sends it in, away by Johnston. Good header, but Scotland hemmed in just at the moment. Damsgaard picks up once more, tries to send it in again. Saved by Gunn.
Yes, Gunn, what a save.
Double save. The offside flag is up. Whether it's against Højlund, who had the first effort, or the second one was Grombeck on the rebound, either way, Angus Gunn kept them both out.
It's Højlund, the initial one, I'm pretty sure, Al.
But it's an impressive double stop nonetheless from Angus Gunn.
It's a really good save, but the concern is that a couple of occasions that Damsgaard that was able to get the cross in, nobody was getting close enough to them. Tired bodies.
Well, Angus Gunn, he hasn't had a whole lot to do, you would have to say, but on that occasion he produced an excellent double save, albeit the flag was up against Højlund as Denmark come again. We are into the final 90 seconds or thereabouts, plus added on time, as Denmark come looking for a winning goal. It's Christensen playing it square to Anderson. Now for Damsgaard once more, right hand side, gets it back from Christensen. There's an opening here for Froholt, but he can't get it beyond
Kenny McLean,
who was across there on the cover.
Good block, good work there from Kenny McLean, just tracking the run.
There have been so many blocks like that Scotland have put in. The work ethic has been phenomenal from the Scots. We are always going to have to do that to take something from a place like this. Denmark have knocked the ball out of play over on the far side. It will be a Scotland throw-in, and at this stage the Scots are not in a massive hurry, because they know that a point here would be a terrific way to start a World Cup qualifying campaign, as the Tartan Army find their voice once more inside the Parkin Stadium with the national anthem ringing out.
I mean, you're absolutely spot on. A point will be great, but the players themselves will recognise that there's 3 points that are capable here. A lot of tired bodies though, but they'll have a feeling in this themselves that this game's still possible.
Throw in Denmark on the left hand side. Fourth official preparing to show us how long will be added on at the end here in the Parkin Stadium. 0-0 it stands. There's seconds remaining of the 90. Steve Clark marching around his technical area, just urging his side on for the final few minutes, of which there will be 5, and we are into that now as Denmark come forward. McLean again with the interception, can't get it fully clear, then delays, and he's challenged by Froholt. Yeah, he invited that challenge, he knew it was going to be a free kick, and it's also a yellow card.
Experience there,
Froholt for the descent.
Kenny McLean, he just steps right across Froholt. He knows that the challenge is going to come in. There wasn't too many options higher up the park because Scotland are just a little bit deeper. He knows that step across, take the challenge, win the free kick, and buy a little breather for the side.
Free kick then to be taken by Angus Gunn. He fires it way into Danish territory. It's well won by Anderson, then brought down well by Gulman in the middle of the park.
Brilliant,
can't make anything of it. McGinn does pick up.
Go on.
And now it's Garen Doak on the left-hand side, looking to come inside, but he's just doubled up upon there, and he loses out on the edge of the Danish penalty area. Denmark trying to get themselves forward in search of a winning goal in injury time here against Scotland. It's Damsgaard who's been impressive in the second period, playing it forward, nodded down there to Højlund, who holds it up well on the right-hand side. Scotland again getting bodies back. They're midway inside Scots territory here, Denmark, as Christensen
somebody needs to get
finds Hjulman. Yeah, they're lying too deep once more, and Hjulman able to advance. The ball out to the right-hand side,
yes.
Invites the challenge from Garen Doak, who doesn't hold back. on Damsgaard there, knocks it out of play for a Danish throw-in, which is quickly taken. Damsgaard on the byline here, can he get it across goal? Takes a reflection off Robertson. Gunn hasn't got a full punch on that one, but it's cleared now by Scotland, at least half cleared. But here's Højbjerg on the edge of the area. Now Hjulman fancies chances. Robertson in the way, and behind for a corner once more. Denmark looking for this late winner. 2 minutes gone of the 5 to be added on. Denmark have a man down inside the penalty area after his Højlund actually. Gunn came out and took a bit of him as he also tried to get the ball clear. Denmark will have a corner kick at the end of this on the right hand side as Højlund eventually is dragged to his feet by Andy Robertson. Scotland with a bit more defending to do to see this one out. 0-0 it stands with just minutes remaining. It's fired to the edge of the box. Højlund will take that on, and he's fired it so far wide of target. It's a really poor effort from the Danish skipper. It's one of those ones that it comes off and finds the top corner, and it's an absolute wonder strike, but he was never troubling Angus Gunn there. And it remains Denmark 0, Scotland 0, with 2 minutes of injury time to play in Parkin.
I just get a feeling there's another chance in this game.
Gunn with a goal kick up to the halfway line. Ferguson just helps it further forward. That'll be easy though for Schmeichel, who's looking at keeping a 54th clean sheet in his 115th game for his country, the 38-year-old. Here's Christensen inside the centre circle, plays it out to Anderson. Right hand side is Rasmus Christensen looking to come inside Gannon Doak. There's Suter with the clearing header.
Good header for John Suter.
Yeah, it's picked up on the right hand side though by Denmark. Now it's Hjulman on the edge of the box once more. Froholt digs it in, header comes in, saved by Angus Gunn. Straight at him again from Højbjerg, but Gunn made the save, and he stood firm in the face of anything that's come his way tonight, Angus Gunn. It's an offside flag up against George Hurst, I think. But Angus Gunn, well, I've been relieved that it came straight at him, because either side that could have been troubling. But again, the Danish captain Højbjerg unable to get the better of Angus Gunn. We've got 45 seconds remaining. Is Denmark in possession? Can they find a last minute winner here against the Scots? It's Anderson out to the right hand side. The Danish crowd on their feet, trying to urge their side forwards. As Grombeck gets something on it, but then half cleared by him again and then thumped away as the Scots look to hold on for a point in Copenhagen. Picked up by Damsgaard left hand side. McTominay with him. Infield it comes to Hjulman. Ferguson comes out to meet him. The ball does come into the box, headed back into the centre of the area.
Well played, Grant Hanley.
Once again.
Go on, Ben Doak.
Now it's Gannon Doak. Can he take the Scots over the halfway line? He tries to find George Hurst, but Christensen will beat him to it, and he'll pick up possession and try to come forward. We've played the 5 minutes of added on time. How much more is the referee going to add as Højlund chases a poor ball forward? He's not going to catch that. It's behind for a Scotland goal kick, and that could be just about that, as Scotland have put absolutely everything into this game, and there goes the final whistle in Parkin. It's a goalless draw to start off the campaign, and it's a much better result for Scotland than it is for the Danes, and you can hear the reaction around the Parkin Stadium from the home fans. But Scotland are in celebratory mood out there, those who have still got enough energy to do so. Some of them out on their feet like Scott McTominay. What an effort it has been. They have given absolutely as much as they have got here in Copenhagen tonight, defending stoutly at times when required. Some brilliant defensive performances, but equally at times creating some decent opportunities, and on another night they might have found a goal and a winner themselves. That wasn't to be, but absolutely everyone in Scotland would have taken this result if you'd offered to them pre-match. And they have come away with a point to start the World Cup qualifying campaign, to take to Hungary when they play Belarus on Monday, away from home as well. But on this evening in the Danish capital, it is finished in the Parkin Stadium. Denmark 0, Scotland 0.
Scotland in the World Cup qualifiers.
Goal Scotland! live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.